Welcome to Manifested Publishers.
Hello learners, welcome to our today's geography lesson. The topic is photograph work, and we will proceed with the subtopic parts of a photograph. Learners, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe the 9 parts of a photograph. Learners, welcome to our today's lesson. Geography is the subject. Parts of a photograph is the let me put down the topic first. Photograph work is the topic, and we're studying parts of a photograph. Parts of a photograph. Parts of a photograph. Parts of a photograph. Now, learners, a photograph can be divided into 9 parts. A photograph, again learners, can be divided horizontally into 3 parts. That is the foreground, the middle ground, and the background. Learners, let me repeat what I've just said. I've said that a photograph can be divided horizontally into how many parts? 3 parts. The foreground, the middle ground, and the background. Let's put down that point, that a photograph can be divided horizontally into 3 parts. That is the foreground, middle ground, and the background. The foreground, the middle ground, and the background. Now, learners, the foreground is the area of a photograph at the front or nearest to the camera. I repeat, the foreground is the part of a photograph that is nearer or closer or at the front or nearest to the camera. The middle ground, learners, on the other hand, is the area in the middle distance from the camera, while the background is the area that is farthest from the camera up to and including the horizon. Up to and including the horizon. It is the part that is farthest from the camera. That is if you are looking at a camera horizontally. That is if you are looking at a photograph horizontally. Horizontally. If you are looking at a photograph horizontally, then that photograph can be divided into 3 parts. Can be divided into 3 parts. Let me illustrate. Illustration. If you have a photograph, then a photograph, I've said, can be divided into 3. The area that is nearer to the camera, this is what I refer to as the foreground. Then we have the middle ground. Middle ground and the back ground. If you are to take a photograph and the camera is on this, the cameraman is taking a photo, learners. So this area we are calling foreground is the area of a photograph that is nearest to the camera. The middle ground is the area in the middle distance from the camera, and the background is the distance farthest from the camera. So when looking at a photograph horizontally, then a photograph can be divided into 3 parts. The foreground, that area nearest to the camera. The middle ground is the area in the middle distance from the camera, and the background, which is the area that is farthest from the camera, and it also includes the horizon. Because when you take a photograph in an open space, okay, not within a building, but in an open space, then the farthest part you can see could be the horizon. So that area that is farthest away from the camera, we are referring to it as the background. So learners, a photograph can be divided into 3 parts when looked at it horizontally: foreground, middle ground, and the background. Now, other than dividing a photograph by looking at it horizontally, we can also have a photograph being divided into 3 parts again, but this time when you look at the photograph vertically. Learners. Vertically. A photograph, learners, can further be divided vertically into 3 equal parts. vertically. Learners into 3 equal parts, that is from the left to the right, to the left, from the left to the right. You can write and see another important point, that a photograph can further be divided vertically. A photograph can further be divided, vertically into 3 equal parts. Vertically into 3 equal parts from the left to the right. From the left to the right. That is from left, center, and middle. From the left to the right. From the left to the right, meaning from the left, center, or middle, and right. Let me use the same illustration here of a photograph. Illustration can have the same photograph. Illustration of a photograph. So learners vertically. So you'll have left, middle, and right. Left, middle, and right. Let me have it. Left, middle, and right. So you have left, this is center or middle, and right. Looking at it vertically. This one we are looking at it horizontally. So a photograph can further be divided vertically into 3 equal parts from the left. This is the left, the center or the middle, and then the right. This is the center or the middle, and then the right. Illustration. I want you to put down that illustration. Now, learners, when we combine the horizontal and the vertical divisions, we get 9 parts or combinations. When we combine the horizontal, I want you to put down another point. When we combine the horizontal and the vertical divisions, we get 9 divisions or parts. We get 9 divisions of parts of a photograph. When we combine both the horizontal and the vertical divisions, we get 9 divisions or parts. We get 9 divisions or parts. For example, learners, you can see here we have the foreground. When you combine, because here we have foreground, you can see we have left foreground. We have another combination of center foreground and right foreground. Coming to the middle, we will have another combination, learners, left middle ground, center middle ground, right middle ground. Another combination will be left background, center background, and right background and right background. So putting down these combinations, learners, let us put down the combinations. Putting down the combinations, allow me to just illustrate. Let me illustrate. Can have an illustration of the 9 combinations. So first of all, the horizontal. This is the horizontal division and the vertical division. So, learners, we are going to have left, center, right. Left, center, right. This is left, center, right. That is the that one is the vertical division. Okay. Then we'll still have in the middle, we have left, center, right. Left, center, right. Still on vertical, we have left, center, right divisions. Then coming to the horizontal combinations, you can see here we have foreground. Foreground, the area that is closer to the camera. The area that is closer to the camera, we said, is known as the foreground. This is the foreground. When divided vertically, horizontally, this area that is close to the camera is known as the foreground. So we'll have left foreground, left foreground. This is left foreground. Center foreground, then right foreground. Right foreground. Then in the middle, we had the middle ground. The middle ground. So we come here and insert the middle ground. So we have left, middle ground, left, middle ground, center, middle ground, then right, middle ground, right, middle ground. Then learners, we have the background. This is the area that is farthest away from the camera, the background. So we'll have left background, left background, center background, then right background, right background. So when we combine the horizontal and the vertical divisions, horizontal, and vertical divisions, we get 9 combinations. 9 combinations. The first one is in relation to the foreground. So we have left foreground, center foreground, right foreground. Then the middle ground will have left middle ground, center middle ground, right middle ground. Then the background will have left background, center background, right background. These are the 9 parts of a photograph. 9 parts of a photograph. When we combine the horizontal and the vertical divisions, we get the 9 combinations. 9 combinations. 9 what? Combinations. These are 9 combinations. 9 combinations. 9 combinations. 9 combinations, learners. 9 combinations. I've said the first one is in relation to the foreground. Foreground. So under the foreground, we have left foreground, center foreground, and right foreground. Then the middle ground, B, middle ground, we have the left middle ground, center middle ground, right middle ground. Then the background, C, background, the divisions are left background, center background, and right background. And right background. Learners, these are 9 parts of a photograph in geography. 9 parts. These are 9 parts. Left background, I mean foreground. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are 9 parts of a photograph. So learners, I hope you have understood how we have arrived at the 9 parts of a photograph. Firstly, we saw that we divide a photograph horizontally into 3 parts: the foreground, the background, the middle ground, and the background. Then we further divided a photograph vertically into 3 parts. That is the left, center, and right. Then out of these combinations, the vertical and horizontal combinations, we came up with 9 parts. These are 9 parts: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is how to arrive at 9 parts of a photograph. Now, learners, it's important to remember or to note that it's not appropriate to use terms such as top or bottom when referring to places or features on a photograph. Don't say at the top or at the bottom. No, you say left foreground or left background or center background of a photograph. It is also not permissible, learners, to use compass points like north or east or west or south when describing places or features on a photograph. 2 important points there, learners. Number 1, it is not appropriate to use top or bottom when referring to features on a photograph. Neither is it permissible to use compass points like north, south, west, east when referring to features or describing places on a photograph. Of course, unless there is evidence to that effect. Unless there is evidence that this is north, this is south. Unless there is evidence. That is when you can refer to places or parts on a photograph using compass points. So that marks the end of our today's lesson, where we have described 9 parts of a photograph. So let me now give you one practice question. State the 9 parts of a photograph. State the 9 parts of a photograph. That is your practice question for today. Thank you for being attentive. Make sure you go through the video once more, write the notes, go through the notes, please, so that when we meet next time, we'll continue studying more about photograph work. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you for choosing to study with us. For more information, you can call us on 0724 173845.